Good morning, this is Ben, and I wanted to respond to a video by Call of Dusty, Do Atheists Hate God? And there was a point he made kind of in the middle of the video that was so weighty and so serious that I wanted to respond to it. And he says that basically the reason people aren't atheists and the reason they do believe in God is because they haven't done the research, because they simply lack information. You know, they don't know, they don't have the knowledge. And he made a comparison to a child who had never gained the information of shoelace tying, and it was just completely overwhelming to the child, and they can't get it, and so they say, you know, dumb stuff in response, and they say, you know, you hate me, and you hate, you know, I don't know, the God of not tying shoelaces or whatever. And this point had such sweeping ramifications, I had to say something about it. If this is true, if people simply will go, what's being said here, as best I can tell, is that if people have information, they will follow that information, they will believe that information, they will admit it, and they will make their choices based on the best information they have, and the best guesses, at least. If information is lacking, they'll go with their best guess, and ta-da! If someone does something wrong and you know it, you give them the information, they'll immediately admit it. And what this is saying is that, you know, knowledge directly affects action, that there's no choice there, there's no breakdown. And if this is true, then the question becomes, why are people ever wrong? In other words, if you believe a lie, there is no good reason to be confident and certain about that lie being true. Now, you may say that people just go forward on the best information they have. They didn't actually believe the lie or weren't confident and certain. And that they have to make choices in the course of life and make them according to their best guesses. But we all know that isn't true. We all accuse people of that not being true all the time. We all find ourselves saying things like, why did you do that? I know you know better than that. Or we'll accuse ourselves and we'll say, I can't believe I just did that. I know better than that. Right? Furthermore, this concept would destroy all notions of free will, right? If people just go with their best information and can't help it, then they never have any reason to feel proud for being right or ashamed for being wrong, right? Just try to imagine this world where we can't help but be as reasonable as the circumstances allow. In other words, the circumstances that, you know, allow you to have your information, you can't be anything but as reasonable as they allow. You're going to be reasonable and completely reasonable and right all the way up to, you know, whatever information you have. A world where there was no this would be a strange world indeed, a world where there's no reason to keep an eye on anyone, right? You just tell him or her the truth and you can proceed to the next guy. I mean, think about it, you know. You don't have to keep it, you know, they're not going to go against, you know, once you give them the information, you know, okay, great. You just tell him or her the truth and just proceed to the next guy. But then the question arises, or do you? Or do you go and discover more truth for yourself? Or do you speak to the president? Or do you go speak to the terrorist? What should you do? And here's where the real breakdown is. Even if people cannot help but admit what is true, that tells them nothing about what should be true. Say it again. Even if people cannot even help but admit what is true, that tells them nothing about what should be true. Humans are constantly concerned not merely with what is, but also with what should be. This is called morality. Morality is not about what is. It's about what should be. And it extends to the question of believing truth. Should you believe the truth? You can't find a basis for what should be in what is. Because even if you know the truth and what is, should you believe it? You know, should you believe the truth? You can say, well, it's better. Well, when you say it's better to believe the truth, you're smuggling in that you should believe it. Smuggled in concept. And that's the question. Should you believe the truth? The fact that we as mankind, human beings, can even raise this question means that we don't have to believe the truth. If that's even an askable question. Furthermore, any claim of certainty can't be a best guess. You know, if someone claims certainty, that they're definitely right, and they turn out to be wrong, that cannot be a best guess. Well, guess what? All religions claim that. Okay? Jesus claims he's God. Muhammad claims Jesus is not God. Okay? Buddhists claim it doesn't matter if there's God. Atheists claim there is no God, or no reason to believe in God. And Hindus claim everybody's God. They cannot possibly all be right. One of them can be right. Maybe there's a sense in which none of them can be right, but at best you can only hope for one of those. At best. What does this mean? That you have a lot of people claiming certainty about something when they're not supposed, that a lot of them can't possibly be right. And so obviously if what you're claiming is true, and you're claiming that you're certain that it's true, but it actually is a lie and actually isn't true, then there's no possible reason that you're being honest to what you know. If you were honest to what you know, you would say, this could be true. As soon as you make that jump to certainty, and it turns out what you believe was a lie, then you made that jump. You weren't going with your best guess on the best information. And that's the problem. We know a lot of people are doing this because, as I listed, hey, somebody has to be disbelieving the truth. So, in conclusion, I think we can agree with that Jesus is right in John chapter 3 when he tells Nicodemus that people loved the darkness rather than the light because their works were evil. Again, Jesus told Nicodemus in John chapter 3, people love the darkness rather than the light because their works were evil. Now, Jesus identifies himself as that light. Now, I think a lot of us would disagree on that. I think he is that light, but I think we can agree with Jesus. People love the darkness rather than the light because their deeds are evil. Jesus seems to be the more perceptive analyst, at least at this point. Now, he analyzes himself as the light itself, which is an amazing claim, you know, for someone just to claim to be God. A lot of people claim to be God, but can someone sustain that claim, you know? It's really incredible when you think about it. And he made no exception for, well, I'm God some of the time, or, you know, right now I'm not God, or I'm a God, but like it's kind of over me and allows some mistakes. No, he claimed to really be God and really never do anything wrong. And he actually had people, you know, really believe it. A lot of people. A lot of people didn't. But maybe some people love the darkness rather than the light because their deeds were evil. If God came to this world, you got to ask yourself, what would be his reception? You know, and how would people receive him? The clue is in how people receive goodness and morality, because this flows from who God is. And if people reject that in general, they're going to reject, you know, God's presence in general. So there we have it. Hope that helps. Thanks. Bye.